How you doing? Welcome back to the channel. Just want to do a brief video today on the 3 things to do when you buy a used vehicle. I've been standing by this method probably for over the last 20 years, but let's get into it. The 3 things that I do every time I buy a used vehicle. First thing, make sure the oil is clean. Change the oil. Second thing, change the spark plugs. Third thing, check your brakes. If need be, change them. All right, so reason why I go with those 3 things, first off, you don't know the vehicle. You just bought it, seems cool. All right, good. It's got at least 100,000 miles or more. You want to go ahead and change your spark plugs. Not that it's an emergency, but you're supposed to do it routinely every 75 to 100,000 miles, change your plugs. So I usually wait 100, 120,000 miles. I kind of look at it like a sort of an emergency just because it is the life of the piston as far as them rotating and moving. So you got your ignition system. So yeah, definitely upgrade those, change those, get those out of there, put you some new plugs in. As far as oil changes, definitely change the oil when you get a new vehicle. Check the oil before you buy the vehicle. Dip that stick a few times. Make sure it's not thick and heavy. As long as it runs and it drips and it doesn't look milky or looks like something other than oil. So you dip your stick, as long as it runs and drips, it's usually good. Okay, it can be light oil or dark. Dark is usually saying that the engine is dirty. So definitely go ahead and change that in your filter, and then look at your brakes. Feel them as you're testing the vehicle. If they feel fine, then that's okay. But I usually change my brakes when I get a used vehicle just to know my pad setting on where they are as far as the millimeters and the width and how thick the pads are. So I'll get my vehicle, change the oil, change the spark plugs, then I'll change the brakes. And I usually do everything if within a month span, because you just bought the vehicle. So I say the first thing would be to change the oil and just kind of work in knowing that you're going to change those spark plugs. Okay, if your brakes feel good, you don't have to worry about them, but just monitor them. And if you can afford to, I always change those. Sometimes you'll change your plugs and you might have some broken coil packs. You might break a wire or something. So I recommend, if you do the tune-up, change your wires as well. And coil packs can be expensive. Sometimes the rubber boots break. And you might end up having to go with the whole new coil pack itself. But yeah, I've been doing this for over 20 years as far as how I maintain my vehicles, and we have probably about 5 vehicles now outside of the other children, but 5 vehicles at home all the time that I must maintain as far as tune-ups, oil changes, spark plugs, brakes. So I'm always in and out the garage, well, whether it's my vehicle or working on somebody else's. But this is just my personal opinion on the necessity of um, when you purchase a newer used vehicle. So long as it's in good condition and you're okay to go with it, definitely take somebody with you to check it out. If you're not knowledgeable about certain things about cars, make sure your steering is fine. Make sure your tires aren't too worn. Check for knocking when you're messing with your steering wheel. If you hear any knocking noise in an engine when you're getting ready to purchase it, do not buy that engine. Far as a startup, clutter, clatter, real loud knocking, you possibly have a bad engine. But unless you know you're going to replace the engine and you just decide to go with the vehicle. But yeah, been doing this for over 20 years as far as how I maintain my vehicles, and this one was recently picked up over the last month. So you just buy the vehicle, you're gonna have to slow roll a few things, get your money right, whatever you might have to do to start that process. But change your oil, change your plugs, check your brakes, change your brakes, and then that way basically that is my foundation of knowing the vehicle, and then just monitoring and driving in and seeing if anything else is on. But if you have any codes and you decide to buy a used vehicle, check engine codes, definitely get that read. And if you still decide to go with it because you know what it may be, then at least you know where you start from at that aspect after those other things. But if you have check engine code, those other things can wait. If it's a major code, go ahead and handle those things, but you still need to handle those other things as far as maintaining your engine's performance. Okay. yeah, I think that's pretty much all I have to say right now. I'll probably make another video in the future on some other things. But hopefully this video helps you out if you decide to buy a newer vehicle. At least those 3 things off top. Check for engine codes. Make sure everything looks good. Yeah. I usually tell people also, yeah, I want to mention that a clean engine is a dirty engine, okay? Not saying that it's clean, but what I mean by that is dirt around the engine. Not saying it's dirty, but you know how you got dust that lands on your dressers and your countertops. So it coats the engine. Anything that's going to leak is going to show, okay? There's fluids everywhere in the engine. You got brake fluid, oil, you got power steering fluid, you got all these different fluids, antifreeze, transmission fluid. And if there's a leak and your engine is dirty, it's going to definitely show where it's leaking, versus you detailing the engine and it's super clean and then you possibly trying to find the leak. You know what I mean? Just saying, you might find it fast, but more than likely you're gonna find it faster with a dirty engine. So you don't have to detail an engine. If it's dirty, it's doing its job, as long as you maintain the engine on everything it supposedly needs. And yeah, that's pretty much all I got to say for today. Hopefully this helps you on your next purchase of a used vehicle. If it does help you, please leave a description and throw a thumbs up. You can like and subscribe if you like. But yeah, rust is the enemy on these things. And yeah, to the next video. Hopefully this helps. And I'm out. One thing that I did leave out to check on purchasing a used vehicle was making sure that your transmission shifts smoothly. So definitely take it on a test drive. Make sure there's no jerking or high RPMs longer than it should be stressed out for. It should shift smoothly. So as long as you check those things that I previously said, and definitely make sure your transmission is shifting smoothly when you're test driving a vehicle. These newer vehicles, you're not able to dip your transmission stick. They're coming without transmission sticks now. As far as dipsticks, they're becoming more of a closed transmissions. That's what they're making more so now, to where you can't change your own transmission fluid. But just wanted to add that, make sure it shifts well, and hopefully this video helps you out. To the next video, I'm out.